Welcome to Take 10. I want to go back and just touch on something we had last session and something we're bringing in today. And it goes back to where Jesus asked the sons of Zebedee, he said, will you drink from the cup that I'm drinking from? What cup was that? Well, not only there was a great enjoyment with Jesus when he was able to do something for somebody, healing the sick, feed the 5,000, calm the storm, on and on it goes. Great. But then there came that time when he had to be tested. And he found himself in a desert. He found himself hungry. He found the devil talking to him. And then there was the ultimate time when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying to let the cup pass from him, that he wouldn't have to drink it. And then he says, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. When you do a self-check, it's always going to come down to whether you have broken your self-will and you are willing to do the will of God. The dream is too big, right? The problems are too great, right? You don't know what you're going to do, right? You don't know where you're going to get the money, right? All these are right questions. But when you submit yourself to the cup, then you find yourself in the right order. We don't have honor anymore like we should. We only honor a man because he's a big guy. Sometimes you honor someone who leads you. I have many people in my life that I honor because of what they lead me in. I have businessmen that I honor them greatly because they have led me in business. And just last night, I asked a businessman about a business principle. Now, I've been around the block or two, but I've never really understood this one business principle. And I'm not going to share it here today, but when I emailed him and asked him, he took the time, or I talked to him on the phone, and he took the time to write me, like a school teacher, a line-by-line description of how to read this particular diagnosis or this particular chart, and to understand what they were saying in it and how to apply it to whatever I came in front of so that I would know. Now, that could be many, many things, and it's not important that we go over that lesson. Maybe one day we will go over some of those lessons. But he took the time. I honor him greatly. He could have just said, well, go Google it. Googling it is never a person's personal experience of having walked through knowledge. When you walk through knowledge, you understand what it takes, and you can lead others through it. These are the men that we honor. We don't honor a guy just because a guy has mastered this or mastered that. That's not the person you honor, and we're going to talk about that because this is what Jesus said in Matthew 20:25. He called all the disciples together, and he said, you know, wait, now watch. He's not telling them something they had to go learn. He said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them. The old country way was they said he big boys it over them. I'm going to be the big boy and you're going to do what I say. The rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Jesus was just laying that down because he did not want his kingdom, which it has become, which many pastors do, many leaders do. I was speaking this week with a man who had a $1 billion charity for over 30 years, one of the greatest masterminds in charity that we've ever had. His name was Larry Jones with Feed the Children. And he was telling me, you know, when I was running the operation for the 30 years, he said, these are the way that the people responded. And I do know that because in his life, those people loved to serve him. Those from the dock all the way to the finance department, they loved to serve him because he didn't lord it over them. He didn't exercise authority over them as a high official. He worked shoulder to shoulder and he led them through their struggles and their problems. And Jesus was saying that you need to have a self-check because you're wanting to run this kingdom like they run theirs. And they're just big bosses. and they big boy it over people. You don't tell a person, honor me because of who I am. They will honor you because of what you can lead them through with your knowledge. I can't get pumped up in that. I can't say, boy, you better listen to me. That's what my father said to me. He had the right because he was my dad. And he told me, you better listen to me. You're going to mow the lawn the way I want the lawn mowed. If you don't, I'm going to give you a whooping. And yes, he could give me a whooping whenever he wanted to in those days. Nowadays, probably go to jail because of the bruises he left on me. But I probably needed it. He exercised authority over me. Now, Jesus Christ is not going to do that. He's just going to let you blow on your own way and find your own thoughts. But true greatness is not how many you can exercise authority over. True greatness is how many you can lead with the knowledge that you have and gain the honor. And I appreciate all of you guys, gals that honor me, and I don't deserve half of what you give me and what you bless me with and the honor that you give me. But I can tell you this. I don't want anybody taking me where they haven't been. I want them to take me and lead me through things they have authority and knowledge over. And you can do the same. Today, you're growing. Today, somebody needs what you do. Somebody needs to know how you did it, how you came through it. And if you'll start with those that are around you, instead of doing it because you said so, they'll do it because they love to honor the authority that is present. And they love to honor the knowledge and authority that you're bringing to them. So remember, you can't have the assessment of the world. There's two assessments that the world has. I don't know if I get through with it today, but I'm just going to lay it out there. The one is the world's view, which is power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, possessions, and the other is God's view. What's God's view? How does God go to the opposite of power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, possessions? And listen, all of that comes to you as you grow in the kingdom. I'd be a fool to say that God has not given power to those that have risen to places of authority. There's a prestige. I don't deny that there's a prestige in being in the position that the Lord has put me. That's a power of that. There's a limited amount of fame, and God supplies you with the wealth of mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually to carry the view. But that's the world's view only. What's God's view? Love, righteousness, humility, faithfulness, servitude. So how do you look at those two assessments and say, well, I'm just not going to look at power, prestige, position, fame, wealth. Listen, power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, possessions comes with God's success. But if you lose love, righteousness, humility, faithfulness, and servitude, you have just the world's authority. And then you begin to operate in the world's authority where you lord it over them, you exercise authority over those that are under you, and God is calling you today to a place of self-check where you can say, maybe power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, and position have eluded me because I haven't understood love, righteousness, humility, faithfulness, and servitude. Joel Osteen often tells about his father, born poor. And after a while in ministry, he thought that to be a preacher, he had to be poor. But he found out that God wanted to bless him. And the rest was history. He broke the spirit of poverty. So I'm going to pray for you right now and break that spirit of poverty so that you can have love, righteousness, humility, faithfulness, and servitude, and power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, and possession. I loose upon you the ability in this prayer to break poverty in your business, in your organization, in your church, and in you personally, that you can bear up under the weight and you can be strong in love, strong in righteousness, strong in humility, strong in faithfulness, and strong in servitude, so that you can do well when power, prestige, position, fame, wealth, and possessions come your way. God bless you. You're on your way to victory. I'll see you next time.